While Superman might not be the center of attention and focus of 2026 summer compared to last year, Superman-related media and materials are still the talk of the town. We have My Adventures with Superman 3rd season coming out with new episodes every week. We have Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow coming out on the 26th of this month. And we are already seeing some of the production, set designs, and sequences for Man of Tomorrow. I am low-key so hyped for this movie, yo. But on the 28th of June, we will get to see Superboy Prime for the first time ever on screen in Death Battle, going against Sentry. And in anticipation for that episode, I decided to use this opportunity to break down what I consider to be one of, if not the greatest beatdowns in all of comics. And that has to do with the fight that happened between Superboy Prime and Sodam Yat, which was Green Lantern's most powerful soldier at the time. But before I talk about the main fight that happened between these two, let me give a brief summary and a little bit of build-up before they clashed. First character I'll talk about is Sodam Yat, which is Iron. Then down the line I'll talk about Prime. And all this happened during the Sinestro War event. If you haven't read it and you're watching my video, then I hope this convinces you to do so, because it's actually one of the best events that DC has ever published. On Sodam Yat, the main thing the books let us all know is that he was the Green Lantern's Corps' strongest weapon in the war, simply because he's a Daxamite, and Daxamites are basically genetic cousins to Kryptonians. Only difference is that instead of being weak to kryptonite, they are instead weak to lead. And thanks to this, is what made Sodam an important player to the field. He single-handedly destroyed ranks, which was basically Sinestro's version of Mogo, and he got an insane power boost / elder blessings from the Guardians, anointing him as the new Iron, which is basically the strongest embodiment of willpower. Keep in mind that this man also has all of Superman's powers as well, so he is basically oozing with swag and confidence. He feels he can take on anything, on top of the world type shit, new drip and everything. And he decides to be well on his way to fight and take out Superboy Prime. Superboy Prime, on the other hand, was busy. Now, first of all, look at these panels, bro. Holy aura. You know you're him when even the main villain of the story chooses to humble himself before you. Also, I absolutely love that he had barely done anything on Earth, but the moment they got the signal that he had arrived, the entire DC Universe roster decided to pull up and immediately jump him. Another big reason why they chose to jump him was because Prime at this stage had yet to get the feeling of the yellow sun and hence be at full power. So the heroes' idea were to all jump, overwhelm and subdue him before the sun rises. Prime was still definitely stronger than most of them, but he knew he needed sun to get his full strength. Wally and Jerick immediately tries to tackle him, but he immediately flies out of the way. He couldn't escape though. He was caught by Black Lightning, Firestorm, and a few other heroes, with them also talking about how they should quickly take him out. But nah, this man first takes the mace of Hawkman, smashes it on his face, holds Martian Manhunter, and on some freaky ass shit proceeds to say that he is nearly whole again. They tried to use kryptonite on him too, but he reminded them that shit like that don't work on him. Cassie and Diana shows up, and with the help of their lassos, they were able to get Prime on his neck and send him flying. Cassie especially puts a whole lot of energy into flipping Prime away, cause at the time, Prime killed Connor, and that was the Superboy that she was in a relationship with. Prime immediately gets up, takes a train, and throws it towards both of them, saying that all she lost was a clone. A bunch of other heroes tried to jump him too, but he made it clear to all of them that they just can't hang. Feeling himself a little too much because of the catastrophe and damage that he just caused, he asked who's next, and on cue, Team Drake comes in. And low-key, I had the same response as Prime here, cause what do you mean you're next? You're not like that, little bro. Take 3 steps back and go back to the bench and pretend like you're an ordinary citizen. But I must have spoken a little too soon here. Immediately setting Crypto for a big distraction, while Superman, Supergirl, and Power Girl pull up for the real attacks was an elite move. And damn, the beatdown they were giving Prime at this time was glorious. The aura was unmatched too. Like, take a good look at this panel, bro. And I remember a few months back, whole bunch of casual ass motherfuckers were out here saying that the Viltrumites have more aura than the Kryptonians. Nigga, show me an invincible panel right now that comes close to this peak first and watch me deactivate. Motherfuckers would read one comic in their life and then go online to be spouting some nonsense. Don't ever compare those weak ass frosts to my ghosts ever again. Seeing as Prime was weak from the beatdown he got from the Super Family, the rest of the Justice League proceeded to jump him. And this time, they almost had him. They were actually winning. But then, the sun starts to shine and the ray of light touches his hand. And that was all the boost up he needed. Flew up to get his remaining power and feel fully charged. And look at his inner monologue, bro. I don't care how good of a character this nigga is now. This man in this comic was pure evil. I couldn't save my parents, or Laurie, or Ed. I was a stupid boy like Bat Allen who didn't know any better. I'm not a stupid boy anymore. I can't be. When this is over, when these heroes are long gone, I'll just take Superman's place. I'll make a huge return, way bigger than he ever did. Everyone will look up in the sky and they will call me Superman. This dude is insane. Saying all this while hitting the Jesus pose too. Even Superman couldn't comprehend that aura. He knew they were cooked. But this is where Sodam Yat finally meets up with him, and on cue, both immediately decided to run the fade. Now first, a bit of exposure on a trope that I noticed happen in action scenes. You know how you're watching a really cool fight in a series and then all of a sudden it cuts to one of the characters' origin or backstories to basically shed more light so that we can care a lot for them. But low-key, we already know that they are basically cooked. It's usually a form of narrative method that helps us feel for the characters. Jiraiya from Naruto and Nanami and Nobara from Jujutsu Kaisen are somewhat good examples of this. Well, that exact same shit was used in this exact fight scene for Sodam Yat. Living embodiment of will my ass. More like living embodiment of realizing he's not built for this. Yeah guys, all that extra power up I was talking about earlier, him having Superman powers and being so pumped to use lethal force and getting a whole new feat meant absolute jack shit when he came toe to toe with a real demon. Cause this whole fight, even after he got jumped by Superman and the Super Family, and more than half of DC roster was basically Prime putting Sodam Yat in a full Nelson sex position and hitting that shit raw till it was sore. Giving this man a double axe handle in the sky, getting some lead pipes, hitting it up, and straight driving it through Sodam from the back while giving this devious ass smile is diabolical on all fronts. Sodam tried to fight back by pushing the rod through Prime's mouth, but this nigga started eating the whole lead like a snack while saying this. I love the taste of uranium in the morning. Hey, where are you going? I'm just getting warmed up. Oh hell nah, son. Pack this shit up already. And how did he catch your ass all the way from over there, man? They say a little heat is good for sore back muscles as he drives him back to the ground with full force. And it's here we get hands down one of the greatest villain panels to ever exist in a comic. See, where Prime chose to drive Sodam to was a ceremony full of dead people. Almost like it was already welcoming this nigga. But Prime added more salt to injury while Sodam was trying to recover by making a headstone, and this is what it says, bro. Here lies iron. With great power comes one big zero. And then he made another headstone next to his and he says, here lies Earth, one of many that never deserved to exist. And he tells Sodam, you like it? I'll leave one for you when we're done. And the other for this sorry excuse of a mudball. This dude was evil, bro. Devious ass thinking. But this had Sodam boiling. He charged at Prime, but this ain't WWE, my nigga. You are not like that. Prime gives him a crazy double ear slap and a nasty hook. Sodam tried to go for a drop kick, but it was wraps from here as Prime holds on to that leg and bashes him through the concrete floor. Shit was so bad, it took this nigga's brains to multiple flashbacks of his life all at once. And nah bro, it is never that serious. First gave this man 4 diabolical hooks, then grabbed his face and made it kiss the floor till literally the whole entire building around their radius all collapsed. And nah man, holy pure disrespect, holding this nigga by his uniform covered in this man's blood and asking who's next is crazy. Absolutely insane victory pose, bro. And that was basically how the fight between Prime and Sodam Yat went down. So why did I choose to talk about Prime right now specifically and highlight this fight from this comic event? First reason is to make you all understand why Sentry is absolutely cooked going up against this devil's strongest soldier at Dead Battle. I am not an expert power scaler, but I know for sure that the void ain't enough to go up against this monster. I expect Sentry to get the full Nelson, the same way Null gave it to him back in the King in Black comic, till we hear the knockout noise. Beatdown is gonna be so diabolical, Rob will go back to his schizo phase to try to forget it, bro. It is so over. But the second and main reason was to highlight why Prime is my favorite evil Superman of all time. One of these days, I'll probably make a full video on this, but I personally hate almost every evil version of Superman, not because they are evil and I consider evil Superman a boring concept, although that does play into it. I hate them because writers are always too scared to deliver on their promise of how exactly an evil Superman should act. How exactly do you tell me that there is an unhinged guy with Superman's abilities and he gets beat down, overwhelmed and disrespected in almost every fight he's in? Like, how exactly is that supposed to make any fucking sense at all, bro? An evil Superman, in my opinion, should be one of the scariest things in comics, because it literally would take a lot of sacrifice, death and destruction to try and take him out. And this factor was the ingredient that was missing so much in most of the evil Superman. Yeah, Homelander too busy killing a whole bunch of nobodies that I don't really give a fuck about doesn't count at all. But thank God for Prime. Besides the fact that he was actually very interesting as a villain with actual compelling reasons for his actions, he actually was not fucking around when it came to fighting and killing a lot of very important characters to DC lore. All of DC heroes jumping Prime in a fight was an absolute necessity, especially if he wasn't fully powered. And when he did get fully powered, you're actually a bit terrified of which of your favorite characters he would actually kill in the worst ways possible. Prime vs Sodam Yat is just one example I decided to highlight because it happens in one of my favorite events, but this man made sure nobody was safe when he was the guy that they all had to fight, and that's why I loved him as a villain. Right now in comics, he's going on a little bit of a hero's journey, and it's actually very good to see because it shows character progression. But I won't let anybody forget about old Superboy Prime, because he was actually what I wanted to see from an evil Superman. But that's about enough from me now, and I'm interested in knowing what your thoughts are on this video. Is this your favorite Superboy Prime fight? And do you think Sentry stands a chance against him in Dead Battle? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.